go again. Absolute gaming madness.
Hello everyone, my name is Eno, and welcome back to my floor. Welcome back for another video on the channel. And today we've got a pretty interesting one actually. We've got a brand new Switch model, and that being this puppy right here. We've got the Splatoon 3 Nintendo OLED edition. So I actually just picked this up recently. It actually finally got delivered to my house. I should have actually ordered this to just go pick up from my local retailer, and I would have gotten this thing way faster, but unfortunately I'm a bit of an idiot and I didn't do that. But man, oh man, do I have some thoughts and opinions about this puppy. This is one of the most beautiful designs I've ever seen on anything, to be honest. It's super cool. So why don't we just go from it sort of top to bottom, and let's talk about the main points. So obviously, first of all, you've got the striking color wave of the actual system itself. So you've got gradients, which are brand new for any Switch Joy-Cons. I'm pretty sure even the Disney ones I don't think actually have color gradients. They've just got different colored diamonds on it. Editing, Ena, throw it up on screen so that people know what you're talking about. But man, do I love the color wave of this. You've got like an indigo into like a darker purple, and you've got a yellow that gradients into a green. And the cute little inklings that are on it, super cool, awesome design. I'm so glad that they finally really did one of these. I was really hoping for, you know, kind of like a Metroid system. I guess the Metroid system would have been the original OLED, the white OLED, but I think it would have been really cool to receive like some more special editions of Switches rather than Splatoon. I just find is like it's quite a popular game, but it's a very niche kind of game at the same time as well. In the fact that, you know, it's not going to hit the majority of users. Like I feel like a lot of Nintendo fans really like Splatoon, but not a lot of casual gamers really know that much about Splatoon. You know, you've got more like your Mario and Zelda that people know casually. So Splatoon's quite an odd choice to have a, you know, an addition for a Switch. But also in a way, because it's really quite graffiti based, and you know, you've got a lot of the paint and stuff that's going on within the game. It's led to some really cool decals, and I'm sure that I'll be showing a lot of B-roll footage that can get better close-ups than, you know, just me talking into the camera. But man, it's such a beautiful system. So obvious things aside, its visual aesthetic, I really love it. I think it's really top-notch. It's actually like excellently done, and I mean, the standouts are the Joy-Cons, obviously. But in saying that, the actual dock that it comes with too is super cool. Definitely don't sleep on the dock. The dock is amazing. But let's talk about actual like OLED features now. So up until this point, I've actually just been using a second generation Switch. So that's the one that just has a little bit improved battery life, and the hardware hacking removed from it, so you can't, you know, rig it to just completely illegally download Nintendo Switch games. So I've got the updated one. So I've been using that for a long time. That came out, I don't know how many years ago at this point. 4? I think it's probably been about 4. And so I've been using that, and that has been my daily driver for quite a long time. I would play games on it regularly, to be honest, and it was my portable handheld of choice. Obviously, I mean, we haven't had anything from Sony in a long time, and the DS systems came out ages ago, until, as you've seen recently, if you've watched any of the 2 videos on my channel, I'm a big DS fan. So I've been playing that as my preferred driver, because my old Switch has been having this issue where its screen has been flickering on and off when I'm playing games, and in handheld mode, that's really distracting. Other than that, the system's still fine. It plays well on the TV and stuff. So I've now designated that to be my TV Switch, but you know, I wanted something to play on the go, so I got another one. But you know, look, like, I don't need to explain myself, okay? I really love the Switch. I love the library that the Switch offers. Obviously, God, everybody just wishes that we actually had, you know, like a real Switch 2 that has come out by this point. But according to Nintendo, I believe we're halfway through their life cycle of what they think the Switch is prepared for, so that's never going to happen. But let's talk about the actual OLED features itself. Man, words are just like, you know what I mean? Anyway, so essentially we've got a bigger screen, not by much. I believe it's like only like is it 0.1 or is it just 1 inch difference? It's very minuscule, whatever it is. However, the biggest game changer for me, besides the OLED panel, obviously, the OLED panel is amazing. It makes games just absolutely pop. Obviously, if the game's color palette doesn't really suit the OLED too well, you know, you're not getting too much out of it. But for games like Super Mario Odyssey, Animal Crossing, Pokemon, the games that really are vibrant, man, the screen is just so much better than the old LCD panel. Is it LCD? What is it? LED? I'll have to figure that one out. I can't remember. I feel like it's an LCD panel. Anyway, it's just so much more bright, and the blacks are true blacks, and the colors just feel so much better to look at. It's just a much overall brighter screen. But also the thing, you know, with the size difference too, is the fact that it also feels way bigger. Now, like, I could be completely placeboing myself here, but the fact that they've really pushed all those bezels to the absolute edge of the screen really makes it feel bigger than what is advertised. You know, they're like, it only has a minuscule amount added to it, you know, it's not much. But man, removing those bezels really has placeboed me into being like, this is a huge screen. And it's funny too, because I hold this screen in my hands, and I think this is probably as big as I would want a screen to be, I feel, for handheld. I feel like anything bigger would be overkill. Like, this already feels like a lot more, to be honest. And yeah, it's the screen to me, I'm actually blown away by. It's really impressive. Now, the other thing that is changed on the OLED as compared to the old Switch is obviously your kickstand, which is, you know, this part here. And this is way more improved as compared to the toothpick stand that they gave you last time. It's so much better for just plopping it down on a table and playing away, which is honestly how I use it. So before, you know, I'll start work, I'll just bust this out, kickstand it, take the Joy-Cons off to start playing, and then just play through whatever for 30 minutes. I've had this one now I've been playing on it as my main driver now for about 4 days, and ergonomics wise, man, I really wish the OLED decided to make some changes to the Joy-Cons, especially like giving them a bit more of an easier grip to hold. Playing this thing in the hand for a long period of time is like really is painful for the hands, just because the ergonomics of it is pretty awful, which I guess is why, you know, a lot of manufacturers sell grips like Satisfy and you know, other ones like that, which is obviously the market for it. But I just wish Nintendo had really, like, you know, for the OLED model, gone a little bit more out and made something that curves to the hand more. I understand why they didn't. You know, when it comes to a lot of party games and accessories and stuff, you'd have to completely rebuild them, and it means that the back catalog of accessories wouldn't be compatible with the new ones. Understandably so. I just wish the fact that they maybe made some first-party Joy-Cons that actually gave you the groove to hold in your hands, because yeah, it gets painful after a while if you really stick with it. But yeah, I mean, besides that, battery life, it feels roughly the same, to be honest. Maybe a little bit more, maybe around 30 minutes more. I have drained this once to 0 to kind of test it against the other one, and in that result I did get, yeah, roughly 30 more minutes of play out of it, which is pretty good, both at max brightness. But yeah, I mean, it sure is another Switch. I mean, there's not too much more to say of it besides that. I mean, the winning factor, as yeah, we've obviously gone over, is that Switch. It also came with some new, you know, side rail grips that come with it. They're not anything too special. You know, the just normal black thread with some blue and some yellow thrown in between it. It's kind of a bare minimum thing. The thing I'm most disappointed about it, to be completely honest, is the part controller that you slide into to create a whole controller. I was really hoping they would do some decals or something on it, similar to this stuff, right? That's on top of it, but it's not on. It's just a standard one, which is fine, obviously. But you know, you pay the bit extra. You would hope maybe they would do it couldn't cost too much, I'm sure, but you know. But I guess the thing that comes down to it is if you already have a Switch and you already have, so you have a normal Switch and or you have an OLED Switch, should you get this? And I think the answer to that question is nah, probably not. I think the only reason you'd really want to get this is A, your like old Switch is dying, or B, you don't have a Switch, or C, you're a really big Splatoon fan. I think those are kind of the only reasons you would. I mean, even if I already owned an OLED, I definitely wouldn't have purchased this. Put it that way. I think, like, you know, essentially you're just buying Joy-Cons and a dock that has some decal on it. And in that effect, I don't think it's very worth it, to be honest. But, you know, if you're looking to pick up a Switch and you just like the color waves, I think that's honestly the best case scenario. But otherwise, I would definitely say, yeah, definitely just save your money. And if it came to the fact that you may be thinking, you know, oh, should I go an OLED Switch or a normal Switch, the LCD panel? Man, it's kind of a tough choice because in Australia, they're charging quite a bit more for OLEDs than the standard one. So I guess it really depends on the kind of games you're going to be playing, and if that panel and the color really affects you in the way you play. Because otherwise, you could get away with just the normal Switch. If you really don't care that much about having a very bright and vibrant screen, I would say just stick with the normal one. There's nothing beneficial really besides the bezels being a bit more pulled out, so you're getting more screen real estate. But I think if it came down to it, I would definitely say, yeah, if it's tight on money and you're wondering whether to spend the extra money, definitely don't pull the trigger on an OLED. I think you'd be absolutely fine. You're better off spending that money on literally buying a game to play on it, because that's nearly the price difference in Australia anyway between these. I'll check the prices difference between the Switches up on the screen too, by the way. But yeah, this has been an interesting video. I mean, it's the first time I've ever really unboxed something that's, you know, going to be on the channel, and something that's not retro at this point. This is very contemporary, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of it for today. So thank you for joining me on my floor, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.